Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Oh, I forgot to turn the banner on. My bad. Hey guys, today is FRI-YAY. It is August the 18th. It's the end of a crappy week. I hope you've had the same. I hope you've had a good week and are excited that today is the last day of this crap show. I got some sad news. That our panel is able to join us today, and neither is our guest. Our guest ended up with some food poisoning. We're going to have Joe Thomas. We're going to have Jim Barrett back on to update us on how he's going and everything. It turns out he ended up with some food poisoning or something, so he's not going to be able to join us today. And then Helena said that Bart Shively is being released today, but apparently it's going to be within the next hour. And you know that she and the general have been doing so much trying to collect money for people and helping get people back on their feet when they're coming out of jail, or help raising money for them while they're in jail so that they can have communications and commissary and things like that. Anyway, they raised some money for Bart, And so now she's needing to get there so that she can give him the money that has been raised for him so that he can kind of try, hopefully get up on his feet a little bit. So that was some good news. But there's some bad news for the Proud Boys. So she just sent this to me literally just a couple of minutes ago. It says breaking. Prosecutors are seeking 33 years in prison for Proud Boy leaders Enrique Tarrio and Joe Biggs. Also, 30 years for Zach Rehl, R-E-H-L, in case I didn't say it right, and 27 years for Ethan Nordine. They want 20 years for Dominic Pizzola as well. And so that is not good news at all. I know that Enrique was not even there, and there's just so this Proud Boys case is actually the one that ended up turning into such the crap show for our friend Jen Lowe. She had gone up there, and I firmly believe that they did what they did to her specifically so that they could do this to the Proud Boys. So Jen Lowe was never an informant the way that the federal government in this court case specifically was trying to throw her out to be. We did a show on this. We've talked about it a couple of times. Jen Lowe has been an amazing researcher and I don't want to say an undercover in a formal term, but she's just, do you ever have one of those friends who, if you want to find out anything about anybody, you call them and they find out who their second grade girlfriend was, right? Like Jen has always been that person. I've got a couple of them and they're amazing people that you never want to piss off, LOL. And so Jen was always one of these people. So when the Antifa stuff was in its prime during the Obama administration, hear that out loud? Okay. Jen was infiltrating their stuff. Jen was going and fighting and doing opposition research. And when she was finding out, hey, this is where they're going to attack, or this is what they're doing, or this is who this player is, or blah, 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 she did what any normal level-headed person would have done, which is contact the FBI. Now, yes, the FBI is corrupt. Yes, the DOJ is corrupt. None of that is irrelevant. None of that is not true. None of that is relevant to what Jen did as her duty to the United States of America, which is to report terrorists to the FBI. That is our responsibility. The federal government has good people in place, period. And we as citizens are supposed to use those avenues. Now, Jen did her part and said, hey, this person's doing this. And guess what? Her information was spot on. So then fast forward. Hey, FBI, this guy's getting ready to do this. Guess what? Turns out her information was correct again. So this kept going and going and going. So she had a friendly relationship with a couple of FBI agents. But she was never an informant that was hurting patriots. She was a person who was doing the right thing for the right reason, who all you F-tards out there like to F over. Okay? Now, she goes up on her own dime to Washington, D.C., because how this plays out, for those of you who are ill-informed, is that when you go to testify at the request of a counsel, the counsel just charges the client. So when a settlement gets paid out, or dare I say, when they get their bill, those expenses are included. But because Jen, much like myself, doesn't believe in trying to do this, she's doing this out of a good place in her heart. She actually just paid for it out of her own pocket so that it did not add more expense to the council. To not add more expense to her friends that she's been fighting for. You see, the people that I surround myself with, they're good-hearted people who are doing the right things for the right reasons, not expecting to be treated like dog crap for doing such things. Now, what ended up happening is she gets there, and the federal government decides to throw a wrench into the system and say, oh, she's an informant for the FBI. She's a CI. What? What? Jen's like, I'm sorry, I'm what? A CI? That implies that I've been paid. Oh, you mean you gave me $3,000 for a security system? Because when she was on the phone with me, somebody was driving past her house in the car that was being described on the phone at 1:00 in the morning, saying that they were going to come in and kill her and her daughter. I physically heard those mother-loving phone calls. I physically FaceTimed with her so I could see this car driving back and forth. So the FBI agents that she was friendly with said, hey, there's nothing that we can do, but hey, let me give you the security system to put outside of your home to help you. And instead, the freaking Democrat lefted federal government on the other side of the good guys in that same agency, they turned it around and said she's the devil. She's been infiltrating everything and hurting the Proud Boys and hurting all of these J6er families. And that is the farthest thing from what she has been doing. In fact, she was doing quite the opposite. She was eating her own expenses so that she could help people. And what did these stupid, self-righteous, high-throned SOBs do to her? They crucified her in the media. They broke down a warrior who's been doing the right things for the right reasons, and they shut her down. Her death threats started coming back. All of the relationships and all of the work that she had worked on for years started doubting everything that she was doing. Why? Because some snot-nosed little self-righteous, you know what, who has Fox News by the earlobe, went on and said that she was a plant and she was a CI and she was this and she was that. And you know what ended up happening? All of these Proud Boys who were depending on Jen's testimony, their defense attorneys came back and said, you might be too controversial and they might throw out our other cases. Or hurt our other cases, not throw, hurt our other cases. So all these people who claim that they're doing the right thing for the right reasons and they're getting a mother-loving paycheck and they're reaping the benefits from all of their GoFundMe accounts because their nails are always done and their hair looks perfect. And well, they were on Fox News, so they must know something. Their testimony, because they didn't have one, that's what's going to put Joe Biggs, who his attorney defended Jen, by the way, publicly, and Enrique, their self-righteous little snotty-nosed selves get to weigh and wear them being in prison for 30 years. Because you have a personal agenda. Because you want to think that you're the cream of the crop. You ain't nothing. You are hate-filled. I'm at a point, guys. Let me back up a second. This morning, I read a devotion. Last night, I went to bed. Y'all aren't going to believe this one. I went to bed crying last night. And just praying for God to give me a direction. Maybe I'm the problem. I even said that on the air yesterday. Oh my gosh, I'm trying not to cry. Let me show you. I need you guys to hear the devotion that I woke up to this morning. A friend of mine, who was a supporter while I was running for office, he's so faithful in posting a devotional. I tell you guys all the time, God knows his daughter. And I was ready to quit. I was ready to walk away from everything yesterday. And this morning, I've even still struggled after I read this devotion. But then when I saw what Helena sent about the Proud Boys, and I remembered after I read this, what led to this, which was my beautiful friend Jen Lowe. I was like, maybe I really am supposed to quit because we're losing, guys. The people who are doing the right things for the right reason, we're losing. And for some godforsaken reason, these awful, evil people keep winning. They keep getting the donations. They keep getting the spots on all the national news media. And their stories are the ones that are getting out and winning. While the people who are actually doing the work and have the experiences and know what the hell they're talking about, they don't have to be rehearsed on it. They're losing. And then my dear friend Ram posted this devotion this morning. It said, do God's work. Never tire of doing what is right. 2 Thessalonians 3:13. It says, how often have you met people who feel that there is little or no sense in trying to do the right thing or to live a life caring about other people? Regardless of how justified you might feel in adopting this attitude, it will only lead to self-centeredness and a feeling of complacency. It also clashes directly with the doctrines of Jesus Christ. In spite of thankless disposition of people, he gave his all to mankind and never gave up on us. In today's world, it is not easy to display the attitude of Jesus. However, you must remember that what you do for other people, you also do for the Master. Lord, please strengthen us. Give us a steady hand in order to never cease doing your work. Amen. Yesterday, I talked about my friend Anthony. Today, I'm talking about Jen Lowe. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about what we've been through. It's frustrating. It's frustrating when you have the answers and you're doing the right things for the right reasons and you're not trying to be a glory whore. You just want to make sure that it's being told. You're the one that gets crapped on. The people who are the glory whores, they don't care. Great job, sissy. They don't care that they're crapping on people. And in fact, it gives them like a little energy boost. Like, not only do we have money, but we're also awful people. Like they literally get some kicks on it. Then this morning, I got another text message. Actually, it came in 7 minutes after I heard from Helena. This is the Republican County chairwoman in the district. I'm just going to say that. She says, at a meeting, Kat Parks is here. She literally took credit for Colonel West's movement in South Texas. And somebody else praised her for always being there for another county. And my immediate response back was, well, I can't say the very first response back because it's not appropriate for this show. The second response back was, call her butt out. You can FaceTime me to back you up if needed. Because see, here's the problem. We saw this after 2020 happened. And I've talked about this on the show. When in the 2020 campaign, we raised $26,000. $26,000. We had COVID happening. we got as far as we did. We got like 39.6% or some BS number like that of the vote with $26,000 because we were there. Like, we showed up. We helped people fight the fights. Like, we did what needed to be done. We were doing the hands and feet work. And we begged for people like Kat Parks and James Dickey and all of these people to come and help us in the actual work that needed to be done, not the pomp and circumstance work. And they didn't show up. But who did show up, even before he was the chairman for the State Party of Texas, was Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. Now, Lieutenant Colonel Allen West didn't just show up because he was running for state party chairman. He was showing up because he believed in doing the right things for the right reasons for the people, for the right people. Lieutenant Colonel Allen West came and did a stop, open Texas, open Laredo rally. He invited me to go and speak at some in other parts of the state. He poured into Zapata County. He poured into Webb County. Now, at the time, the Webb County chairman was a not Allen West fan. So he didn't accept his help. So Allen did what Allen does best and says, yeah, but there's still a need and I'm still getting asked for help. So he still showed up. Allen West poured into Zapata County. Allen West poured into Starr County. Kat was never there in 2020. She barely showed up in 2022. Hidalgo County tried to shut all of that movement out. They got physically angry when there was a group that was not Republican Party branded that was hosting Trump rallies, and they were getting a bigger crowd than them. So instead of joining forces, they kept trying to keep everything separate. On October 31st, 2020, I was with Allen West as we did a tour from Hebronville, which was just outside of our district at the time, all the way here to Laredo on October 31st. And that morning, did I say Hebronville? I didn't mean Hebronville. I meant just outside of Hidalgo County. Give me 1 second. Starts with an H. Doesn't matter. It was just outside of the district. That's all that matters. But we started with Pastor Ray, who was running for CD 34 at the time. Yay. We started there for a breakfast, a brunch. And then we worked our way up the border. And we stopped in McAllen. Mama. Okay, good job, baby. We stopped in McAllen. And we went to the Republican Party headquarters in McAllen, in Hidalgo County. And when we got there, there was a handful of people. They were roasting hot dogs, and it was nice. We stood out, we waved flags, we were encouraging people to vote. Then we get a phone call from somebody who had been helping me in Hidalgo County because my Hidalgo County help wasn't helping, Myra Flores. And he goes, hey, Sandra, hey, Walt, we have like 3,000 or 4,000 people over where we're at. If you guys want to bring Lieutenant Colonel Allen West over, I think this would really be something that would be good for him. And we did. And I have video documentation of all of this. You can look on my Sandra for Texas social media. You can call me personally and I'll send it to you. Whatever you need to prove my stories are true. Because I don't open this without the proof. Other people should try it sometimes. And we left the Hidalgo County GOP meetup. And we went over there. And there was, in fact, 3,000 to 4,000 people that were there. And you know what Lieutenant Colonel Allen West did? Do you know what Sandra Whitten did? We stood there and we spoke to those people. Somebody gave Allen a bullhorn so that or there may have been a microphone at some point, so that he could address the crowd. Because people were so eager to hear that there was actual change that was happening, that we were on the brink of something huge. Then we went to Starr County. And we hugged some necks and we shook some hands. And then we went to Zapata County and we did the same thing. And then we came here to Webb County and we had a little event, and it wasn't largely attended because for some godforsaken reason, people were still convinced that the boogeyman that was known as COVID-19 was going to come and steal them. I had to call the county judge and say, hey, I'm hosting an event. Can you make sure that we don't get arrested, please? The county judge said, absolutely, Sandra, whatever you need, you're good. Nobody will mess with your event. Because we believe in people. We weren't looking for where the money was. We were looking where the people were. We were looking where the story was. We were looking for the people that didn't have a voice and felt like they never did have a voice because of over-controlling, overreaching, overbearing government and bullying of their elected officials and their henchmen that go around and steal elections. We were going to the least of these. Do you know why? Because we took a message from Jesus. The people who sit on top of the hill, they have the ability to look for the truth, but they don't like it. So they create their own world so that they don't have to deal with those of us who don't make $500,000 or more a year. Charlotte, I need you to go in the other room. We have to keep fighting for the people who keep getting overlooked. We need to go with a servant's heart. And I'm sorry, when you go with a servant's heart, you don't bash other people in the process. You don't steal their work and say, look what we did. That is hateful, evil. That's what that is. You know what? I have been nice for 4.5 years. I have put on my smile. I've done what needed to be done. And I said, it doesn't matter who gets the credit as long as the work gets done. And you know what's happening? People are crapping all over the people who are doing the work. They don't care. And it is time for us to stand up. It is time for us to make sure that the right people are getting the recognition, like Jenny Thatcher and Anna Holcomb, like Ramiro and his brothers and his sisters, Claudia down in Starr County. Those people fought like hell, and they still do, and they're still getting crapped on unless they play a game. We actually had people in Starr County last time Walter and I were there look Walter in the face and say, Walter, we love it when you come because we need white people influence down here because they don't listen to us. And it's almost like when you show up, they feel like they have to come because they have to try and outdo you. We're thankful that you and Sandra continue to care about our counties. People are sick of being crapped on for doing the right thing. But the Bible tells us that when we suffer for the right reasons, we're suffering for Him. So we go forward with a quiet heart. But sometimes someone has to stand up for the least of these. Walter has poured more of his time and money and treasure and resources than anybody I know to personally fight for the border. Whether it was to try and change it red, whether it was to help bring forward what's actually happening on the border, more clandestine meetings and conversations than probably anybody on this planet could ever even begin to understand. And I have had the honor of being able to be there and play even if it's just the smallest role in these meetings. But we don't try and make that public. We don't try, because it's nobody else's business as long as the right thing happens. But then when you have people who come back and say, hey, look at all the work that I did. Well, they didn't make a big deal about them doing it, so they must not have done it. And it's not that anyone's looking for an attaboy. But when people try to make the people that are actually doing the work look like terrible people and try to discredit them because they didn't make money off of it, that's the problem. I tell you guys on this show all the time, Jesus knew when the time to flip a table was, and when the time to sit down and draw in the dirt was, and when the time was to sit down and cuddle them babies and tell everybody else to just go the F away. And Jesus speak, of course, naturally. This is my flipping tables moment, because clearly the time has come that people are not listening, that people take kindness for idiocy. This is not that moment. Now it's the time to flip a table so that people understand where we are at, the work that we have done. We never have done it for glory. We never will do it for glory. But do not mistake generosity as a doormat for you to just walk all over somebody. And that's exactly what these self-centered, self-righteous people, whether they're in the Republican Party, whether they are in one of these other freaking groups, or whether they are one of these national talking heads that goes on speaking tours and makes thousands of dollars on the back of the work that other people do and don't give them credit. We give Brian Christ so much shit because he said, look at me. I've done so much work. You should give me an award. I mean, I didn't actually do any of that work. Like, other people did it. And I just hate them because they actually are doing the work that I'm taking credit for. And I couldn't let them know that. I mean, the award was so ridiculous that the RPT actually laughed out loud at the audacity of that. This that is happening on this show today and yesterday is not that. I need America to wake up and stop paying attention to these self-righteous SOBs who keep crapping on the grassroots. And the grassroots is not just a Republican voter who doesn't get paid. This can apply to a church. This can apply to school. This can apply to a job. It doesn't matter. If you're taking credit for somebody else's work, you are a sorry piece of crap. And I don't know how you look yourself in the mirror. How can you sit there and say, it's another day, let me go steal somebody else's work? Because that's exactly what you've done. Federal Defense Friday today is teaching you to stand up. You have to know your value, America. Because those talking heads, they're not giving it to you. Your elected officials, they're sure as hell not giving it to you. And if the people at the top of whatever organization that you're involved with are not hearing you, not listening, hearing you. There's a difference between listening and hearing. if they're not hearing you, if they're not engaging with you, if they're not showing that you're truly a valued member of a team and not just somebody that shows up, hey, let's give them a t-shirt and everything's great. Hey, we'll get some pizzas and nobody's going to care. I mean, like, truly let you know you're a valued member of a team. And say, you know what? I can't take credit for this. Bob gave me this idea. Or, hey, I can't take credit for this. Matt over there, he actually brought this to us. And so we're doing what we can to fix this situation because Matt's been there. Matt's helping us with this. If the people in your circle, in your organization, and your fill in the blank are not doing that, find a new tribe. Because if you're the one that is doing the right thing for the right reason, for the right people, you're getting that. But if you're doing the right things for the right reason and the wrong people are reaping all the glory, you're not where you belong. We need to take a commercial break. But I need you to know your value, America. I need you to know that you matter. This week, I've gotten to play mom again. And puppy wet nurse. And fill in the blank. And I've gotten to see where holes have gotten dropped because mom's always gone because I've been doing the right things for the right reasons, but for some of the wrong people, not all of the wrong people, but for some. But sometimes you have to walk down certain paths so that you can realize some of that. Not all of the people I have an amazing tribe. I'm glad for the people. In fact, one of the conversations that has been recently had is that it's funny how we all went different directions. Not all, but some of us all went different directions. But God's bringing us back together for a reason. We needed to have different experiences under this big tent umbrella so that we can pull these reasons and these resources and these experiences and go forth and do greatness. Because when you connect with people, you know, like those things are not fleeting. There may be misunderstandings along the path. There may be, you know what, I can't, just like I said with Anthony, I'm telling you, Anthony's like my brother for reals. I've never not loved that man. I've always loved Anthony. And the times that we didn't the times that we weren't speaking because we disagreed on something or someone. The funny part is I wasn't the only one that felt that hurt and that emptiness and that disconnect. And the second that reconnections happen, it's like nothing changed. You have those people in your world. And I love you, Anthony. That's why I get to pick on you. You have those people in your world. You have those people that you connect with, that you don't connect with. The second that you meet them, you're like, that's the devil. The number of people, I told you guys yesterday, I have no problems saying, you know what? We're going to just have to agree to disagree and learn to work separately together, right? When you're tasked with being in charge of an organization, when you're tasked with being in charge of people, when you're tasked with being, sorry, Cookie's trying to forage. When you are tasked with personalities, with dealing with personalities. Now, people people innately are not always going to get along with everybody. That's just a real thing, right? But it's the person who's supposed to be at the top of that heap that knows, hey, you know what? This person doesn't work well here, so we're going to put them over there. I'm going to need you guys to manage yourselves here. Everyone's a grown-up, even though most people don't realize that they're grown-ups. It's a managing personalities thing. And a good leader can make sure that the right personalities get put in the right places so that that environment can thrive. There's something you probably see it often on social media. And if you don't, you probably will now because I'm saying it to you out loud on social media. So it'll probably pop up. So you're welcome, America. It says, I keep my circle small. And it's important to keep your circle small, the people that you can trust the most. That is so important. I promise. You do have to keep your circle small. I know lots of people, but my circle is small. The people that I trust are small. The people that I communicate with daily or even weekly, that's small. Some of my people are not even in this country, in fact. But you have to know who your tribe is. And don't force a tribe because it ends in pain. It ends in hurt. It ends in missed opportunities and misdoing the right things for the right reasons. Who you surround yourself with is important. Who you can have real conversations with is important. My challenge and my prayer is that not just you, but we all find those people. Because this crap that's going on in our government, this crap that's going on in the news, it's not going anywhere. It's only getting worse. The days are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And if you're wise, you're paying attention. I assume that if you're wise because you're watching this show, or you're one of those people I've been talking about, your blood's boiling right now, and you're like, this is why we hate her. That's fine. But somebody needed to hear this. It's not just me. Yesterday, I promise we're going to go to a commercial break because I got to go potty. Yesterday, Ken made a comment on the show when I was having a moment. You guys saw it, and if you didn't, go back and watch it. It's on all our social media except for my YouTube. It's on Bacon Nation's YouTube, though. Ken said, when God is using you and it doesn't make sense, then know that he has an intended audience, which sometimes isn't you. I couldn't agree more, Simon. You might not be going through X, Y, and Z, but maybe you know somebody who is. Maybe you are fixing to go through X, Y, and Z. You just don't know it yet. It's always a fun moment. It's like the calm before the storm, if you know what I'm saying. And speaking of calms before the storms, I may have been lying about the bathroom. There's that mountain man. What are you doing?
Just watching your little rant. So I take it there was more good news from our party peeps.
If you heard what I said about what Jenny sent me, yeah.
Oh, all that training's going on right now?
Yeah. Cat Parks is taking credit for all the work that Alan West did on the border.
which is funny.
I've had a mouthful this morning.
Which is funny, because Alan West has spent more time on the border since he lost the primary election for governor than either of those other two, and runs a successful podcast and all the speaking engagements across the nation. So, because guess who be down here again?
And he's humble too. Something that none of these jackasses are. Listen, Simon and I have to go pee, Walter. So you popped in 5 minutes too early, but probably at just the right time because Simon and I have to pee. So we're gonna take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Maybe we're taking a commercial break now. We are back with a huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, the Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget the first and the third Monday, which is coming up this week. Be at Citizens Grill in Conroe, Texas. The meeting starts at 6:30 sharp, so get there early so you can get something yummy to eat. Also, don't forget about the Vietnam Veterans of America. Their service and sacrifice went far beyond a distant shore. So when you see one, make sure you tell them welcome home. You can go to texasfullyloaded.com and click on friends and support so you can find out more about everybody that we talk about and those that I forget, not because I don't love, but I have a lot to cover. Also, don't forget, you can go to mammothNation.com/#WeThePeopleWork. You get exclusive discounts on signing up. It's only $25 a month if you do it that way. Texas Fully Loaded gets some support, and you get exclusive discounts on American and veteran-owned businesses and products. You can also go to the TFL shop and shop at your favorite American-owned and veteran-owned and Texas-owned business and support your favorite show, Texas Fully Loaded. We would really appreciate the support. So if you can do that, we'd greatly appreciate it. And then, of course, you can always go directly to Texas Fully Loaded and click on the #WeThePeopleWork to support us directly. You can also go to PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo, all at Texas Fully Loaded. Walter, I don't know how much you've heard this morning, but I don't regret any of it. I've been naming names and screaming at people. Today was my flipping table show.
Well, yeah, I see the party cancers are back. I mean, but that's all. That's why the Republican Party is such a failure, because they believe the smoke and mirrors that are given, and and remember they're in Austin, so nobody comes down here. Well, they did.
Cat Parks does, apparently.
Back in 2021, and she has done some work down there, but that's that Project Red Texas and stuff that they're doing. They don't invest in the people; they invest in their favorite abortion rights candidates that they put up. They invest in their pro-LGBT Republican abortion rights people that they put up that have to go with identity politics as opposed to what Texas needs.
Yep. I know that you saw, huh?
You got some good people down there, but they're being overlooked because you have some good people down there they're being overlooked because they don't fit the magazine cover,
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I know. We went there. I mean, I pulled it all. Oh man, I caught it all out for all the reasons.
Yeah, well, and now you do have to give Myra Flores some credit though. When Alan West was there, she did leave the GOP office, which had a decent crowd, but it was more of a Biden sucks type of we're going to push this in your face type of political event at the Republican Party headquarters. It was very embarrassing. And then when we got that call to go down there, they 3,000 to 4,000 people down there on was it 10th Street or 82nd?
Mm-hmm.
It was 83rd and 10th. Yeah, mm-hmm. And there were thousands upon thousands. We made a couple cool little video reels and things like that, and then Alan strolled his way up. And no, I remember Myra showing up there. She was a little shocked that about what was happening, and we got tons of video with Alan meeting with people, and it was neat because it was all flavors. It didn't fit the bill down there. It was all flavors. The black people that don't usually come out for Republican things, and it wasn't a Republican thing. It was people wanted to show their support. And if you really look at
just to be a spy, don't give her too much credit.
No. It was an opportunity. She was very very well adjusted for that opportunity. But don't give too much. Don't take away the credit of her handlers. I'll put it to you that way. And that's why
when she was supposed to be my handler, that's the biggest problem. But go on.
No, exactly. You'd get calls at anyway. That's all here nor there. She made it into Congress, and she was able to help a bunch of Indian visa overstays get their amnesty. Whatever that was about. I'm a Hispanic, I'm a Mexican American, but I'm going to help the Indians get into the country over my people. So it was just, there's a lot of people that are pissed at her, and she's running for a district that's deeper D than it ever was before. The way the Republicans and the consultants split up Texas made it an emotional melting pot for years on end to come. So the cool thing is there's not too much of a need to rehash a lot of that stuff down there. But if you remember, all of the work that has been done over the past almost decade now. Remember, Javier Villalobos is the mayor. He was once the Republican Party chairman. Since his leaving, that district hasn't grown much. It's stayed stagnant, and it stays stagnant because the people there concentrate more on how they can make things look in Austin, as opposed to how they can make things actually look on the books in Hidalgo County, in Cameron County. There's a reason why they don't go over that tip. They just don't tip over, and it's because the Republican parties, just like what they do in the House, we have to keep fighting for the bill and keep fighting for the bill and keep fighting for the bill. Eventually, we'll get it passed. Well, when you stop playing games and you actually do the work, it'll get done. It's that simple. It'll get done. But these people, they thrive on playing games down there, and then they come up and look at what we've done. Look at what we've done, and it's the proof is in the pudding, and it hasn't been on paper in almost a whole 10 years now. Almost a whole 10 years. Javier Villalobos won his mayoral race without the help of these people, and it's a nonpartisan race. They'll say that all day long, but whenever the Democrat owns your building, your physical opposition owns your building that you're in, i.e. Republican Party headquarters of Hidalgo County, and then whenever your brother, who's on a campaign in a campaign office, is physically charged with sexual harassment, and there are lawsuits abounding and going forward, that right there should tell you exactly where the truth of everything is. And then up here, there's nothing going on there. There's nothing to see here. You should see the work we're doing over and over again. The people listening in Dallas and Houston, and Austin, San Antonio, that do not invest down there, smoke and mirrors, they'll believe anything they're told. And that's why they don't win either. Notice where Houston is. Notice where Dallas is. Notice where Austin and San Antonio are. They are losing in their realm as well.
I just got something weird sent to me since we've been on the air. It says Shill Law Group, PLLC, claims Friday, August 23rd, but I've got to log into my Microsoft stuff to see it. And it says, please see attached motion to withdraw from the above referenced case.
Okay, so
out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Hey, I just started naming people, so I might already be getting sued. I don't know what the hell that's about.
Motion to withdraw out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Yeah. Well, log into your Microsoft. See what it is.
Let's see what it is. I like to find out all of my stuff here on Texas Fully Loaded. Y'all get to share it with me. But it came to my TFL address. That's why I'm like, that's interesting.
So, anyway, the bottom line, this is there are some good things happening. I see Jenny's been beating the pavement. We've yet to see Ted Cruz down there, and Ted Cruz made a really good video, a 3-minute video that was emailed to the party. They could set up and they could do their thing. And what happened? The whole Cassie Garcia thing, it just doesn't fit right. The fact that her husband is the one who was took over as chief, but was writing deals for illegal aliens to cross and be processed on certain pieces of property up and down the river. Those are factual events and factual things that happen. It makes sense.
Blood. Okay, well now my computer's freezing up, so that's exciting. Here we go. I'm getting big mad. Okay.
Well, so what's
happening? I don't know what the hell it is.
Okay, well, yeah.
I'm gonna forward this.
Stick with the
I'm gonna
script.
have my people.
You'll get it.
Yeah, well.
The
rule is there are no rules here on Texas Fully Loaded. We're like a box of chocolate. You get what you're gonna get, and you don't throw a fit. I did. Where we are. So you want to get triggered now? I mean, because we didn't do that enough on this show yet today. You want to get triggered on some news?
There's only 2 genders.
There are, in fact, only 2 genders. Thank you, Alex. Alex is trying to get us banned on all network. So doctors in California are being forced to go into a sensitivity training. There's a legislation that was passed in 2019 in California that makes all doctors go through a sensitivity training because white doctors are very racist. Did you know that?
Well, and then there you have it. So that violates some of your Supreme Court rulings.
Wait, you want to know who's filing the lawsuit?
Who's that?
Against the training? It's actually an Iraqi doctor. She's like, this is ridiculous. This is actually causing more harm than good, because it's making people. What happens when you do these trainings is people go into them, and then they come out angry because they've been being accused of being a racist for the last 45 minutes or an hour or an all-day class training. Imagine that. Can you imagine a world where people actually get along with one another until they're forced to sit into a classroom to say, hey, you've been racist your whole life, whether you knew it or not? You're quiet. Do you want me to rant? Because I started on it yesterday a little bit, but I don't mind bringing it back over. Why so quiet, Walter? I don't.
Yeah, I'm outside with blue skies. It's hotter than hell, and I'm having a good time.
That's fantastic. Yeah, no. So that's what's happening. So yeah, so an Iraqi doctor was like, look, this is actually hurting more than it's helping. The organization Do No Harm and the Pacific Legal Foundation are the ones who are actually helping. And they're like, enough is enough. Like, this is stupid. This has nothing to do with medical care. We've all taken an oath. It doesn't matter your color, religion, creed, whatever. The oath is do no harm. So what is the purpose of this?
Have you talked about any of the Maui stuff that's going on?
Not today. I think we did yesterday.
Oh man. I mean, look at the fact that the last successful response recovery was in 2017, 2018. Well, 2017. Hurricane Harvey, and then all those lists of hurricanes, even when the Puerto Ricans were stealing from their people and trying to act like, hey, we're not getting any help, standing in front of the copious amounts of aid that they had just been given, and then they had to turn the camera the other way. But, look at what's happening there. Most of the disasters that have happened on those islands, the United States military, which is on one other island, has usually been there to help within 45 minutes to an hour. And yet the United States Marines, Army, Navy have yet to get there. Now, whatever's under control of the governor, that's the only thing that's been getting there. And then on top of that, anybody who boats over there and gives aid is told to leave. And they will not allow people to give hungry people food because they don't have the proper kitchen permit.
It's stupid.
And then the realtors, since the time frame that happening, you've got all these copious amounts of people that are dead. 1,400 or 1,100 are still missing. Well, whatever that number is. And then you have realtors that are calling in, hey, we'll give you this much for your property.
What's happening in California, you kind of threw me a curve because I'm sorry, in Hawaii, it's sick. It really is. And the number, it's exciting to, in a morbid way, to see people on both sides of even people who are not politically active at all, who have not been scratching their heads about stuff going, wait a second, this just seems a little too suspicious here. And now, as much as I hate defending Marjorie Taylor Greene and her freaking Jewish space lasers, Now people are going, maybe she may not have been too far off. Maybe there is something suspicious happening here.
So listen, I'm not going to go down that road. But at the same time, though, there are people that did die in their cars. The cars weren't open. Yep. It takes nothing whenever you have a funnel of heat. Whenever you've got a fire that is rolling at 70 miles with a 70-mile-an-hour winds, just build a campfire, put a couple logs on top, and blow air into it. And you'll see exactly what happens. You can do that with actually most of my burning that I do gets done with the with a leaf blower, because the winds make the heat just ungodly. And I mean, we're talking, I can burn a stack of leaves within 15 minutes, within 10, 15 minutes. You just got to know how to do it. And when I say stack of leaves, I mean a big pile of leaves. But anyway, that down there, if you look at what has happened, the fact that all the resorts have been getting all of the water rights, people don't have water rights. You can't grow for stuff over there. Over there, people don't realize this. Groceries are more expensive than over here. And I've been telling people that's a socialist system over there. That they have to. They don't even have enough farms and whatnot on the island over there to sustain themselves. They actually have to take federal monies to have groceries shipped over. So it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. Sometimes they airlift milk. Like
I was getting ready to say, 20 years ago when we lived in Guam, which is a U.S. territory, but also in Hawaii, because we knew people that lived in Hawaii at the same time, it cost almost $6 a gallon for not organic, just 2%, whatever, milk. 20 years ago, it was costing $6 a gallon milk.
That's because they ship it in, and it's all on federal subsidies is how they do that. And so, you know what it is? It's a drain on the federal system. And so while on the other side of that island, there were boats that were helping these people out. And then the boats had to stop because people had to go scuba diving. Can you imagine being the guest at the resort on the other side of the island and complaining about, hey, we wanted to go snorkeling, but there's a fire that just happened. The worst disaster in American history of fire has just taken place, and you are mad because you can't go snorkeling. Where are the armada of boats? Where's the aid? And then the Red Cross. The Red Cross was the biggest joke back in 2017 when we had Hurricane Harvey blow through. They had guys come in from New York. They rented Cadillacs. They sat at the Walmart and they handed out gift cards, or they used their Red Cross card to swipe people's groceries. So they were feeling good. They were buying groceries. But when you got people that were buying beer, you know, they didn't. The federal government or the Red Cross didn't even buy people beer, but these guys were loading up with 2 or 3 baskets at a time, and the Red Cross guys up there going, "Oh, we're so sorry this happened to you." Swipe, and then move them out, and the next one comes through. "Oh, I've got you," and they got hair care products and all kind of crap like that. And it's like, no, get the essentials, clean the Walmart out properly, get the essentials, and get rolling. That's what happened up in Cleveland, Texas. Watched it with my own eyes.
Well, we talked Wednesday. I won't. I mean, you can go back and see the show, but Wednesday had Stephanie Holderfield on, and we were talking about what was happening in Hawaii and stuff like that, and we started talking about Samaritan's Purse, and that is one organization that I can, on a personal account, tell you for a fact that they are doing the right things for the right reasons.
Do you know where Samaritan's Purse got their start in disaster recovery?
Tell me.
Victoria, Texas in the 1990s. Had a big storm, flood, and everything come through. Don't think it was a hurricane. Just think it was one of those big gully washers. And that's where that was the first place they cut their teeth, was in Victoria, Texas, during those floods down there. It's the late 1990s.
Yep. I knew it was a storm, but I didn't know which one. And I knew it was originally here in the United States. But I tell people all the time, they take care of all of the needs. They take care of the physical needs. They have washing machines on site. They have food. I mean, they do they have medical, they do everything. And they take care of the spiritual needs as well. That's what they do. And so it's not these big overheaded, inflated operating costs like you see with Red Cross and some of these others, because they're doing the right things for the right reasons. And it's people need to pay attention to where they're sending their money. And if they've got these overinflated budgets, stop and take a hard look. Like you're saying, I mean, you physically saw them up there with Cadillacs. Look, I know how much it costs to rent a Cadillac. I know how much it costs to buy a Cadillac. We ain't got Cadillac money up in this place, okay? So if you see them showing up in a broken down Ford, that's a different story. Or I say broken down, but if you see people showing up.
So here's the thing. Like, that was during Hurricane Harvey. At that particular time, a certain sheriff friend of ours, his uncle had just died. His dad had held on to his uncle's body until they could help him, because he was out in the waters. So it wouldn't float away. Had held on to his own brother's body for hours. Brought the body in. The son, who's the sheriff, was able to help. Guess where the county judge was at that time? And that would be San Jacinto County. The county judge was with his girlfriend in San Antonio, much like Ray Nagin was during Hurricane Katrina, whenever he was up in Dallas and he made his headquarters in Dallas, Texas, and he was not there in his own city. So you had this kind of stuff going on. You had people that were washed out of their homes, and the Red Cross personnel, they were taking up hotel rooms. They were on shifts, but they were taking up hotel rooms. They had their own hotel room. They had their own hotel rooms. Hang on a second here. Okay, you got me?
Yeah, I got you. You're good.
Okay. Sorry, that's work related.
Well, I mean, you should maybe take that call then.
Nah, he's good. He's probably watching the show. Anyway, and you know what? That's actually what my company has been doing for like 30 years. You know, with all the stuff we're doing, between whether we're building a wall, whether we're cleaning up oil and gas sites, whether we're plugging in and popping in piping, whatever, commercial development, we're doing disaster recovery for well over 30 years. Matter of fact, we got a request yesterday for the Hawaii stuff.
Breaking up a little bit, bud. You got a request yesterday for what?
Yeah, you're a spinner.
I'm not the spinner.
There we go. No, I have to watch my speed and everything through this area. The popo is very thick around here.
I would imagine wherever you go, you should watch your. We have an insurance agent on our show, Walter. You're supposed to be watching your speed.
I do.
Helps your premium stay low. Yeah, sometimes. Other times you drive like a grandpa. I've followed you enough to know.
Yeah, well, your mom likes it.
Yeah. Anyway, the make sure, and that's the other thing, is you really haven't been seeing the push for donations. Simon made a statement about that yesterday on the show. Now, you really haven't been seeing the push like you typically do during a disaster for donations and support and helping everybody out like we usually do. But I know for a fact that Samaritan's Purse is there. I know for a fact that they've deployed people. They're deploying their resources. So if you want to give to a good, and I have no formal, there we go, affiliations with Samaritan Purse, but it is definitely an organization that I agree with. I have given my money to them before. I have always done the Operation Shoebox and all that kind of stuff. And I know firsthand that they do exactly what they say they're going to do. So if you want to help out with the Hawaii fires, make sure that you go to Samaritan Purse. I believe it's .org to support them. Let's get into a little bit of some of the other news that I did have pulled up for after the first hour of I'm going to eat your face. It's not going to get any better because it's still going to make you eat people's faces. But you want to go Biden or Trump first? Which one do you want to talk about, Walter? Flip the coin. Who are we talking about first?
Let's talk about Trump first.
All right, let's talk about Trump first. So, of course, we all know that he's being indicted in Georgia. Well, now the state senator, Colton Moore, is moving to impeach the the district attorney, Fannie Willis, over the charges that she brought up against Trump. He said, America is under attack, and I'm not going to sit back and watch as the radical left prosecutes politically targeted political opponents. He also wrote a letter to the governor, Brian Kemp, and he's demanding that a special session be called to address the actions of Fannie Willis. In this, he said, we, the undersigned, being duly elected members of the Georgia House of Representatives and Georgia Senate, and compromising 3/5 of each respective house, pursuant to Article 4, Section 2, Paragraph 7b, hereby certify to you in writing with a copy to the Secretary of State that, in our opinion, an emergency exists in the affairs of the state, requiring a special session to be convened under that section for all purposes, to include, without limitation, the review and response to the actions of Fannie Willis. Of course, she gave Trump and the other 18 people in the indictment until noon on August 25th to surrender to law enforcement. Trump said in 2021, so before this current moment, so 2 years ago, he had made the statement about Fannie Willis, saying that she comes from a family steeped in hate as the daughter of a former Black Panther. He said that in a Time magazine article, and Willis's office is not responding to anything.
So what Willis did say, and I forgot what her first name was, so that's pretty funny
Fannie.
that it's Fannie. So thick and juicy. No, it's Fannie. Okay, so anyway, what she did say is, she said a lot of the charges are not illegal, but the fact that there's so many of them, that's why they ran it under the RICO, and she said that that's why she gave it to the grand jury, or the grand jury the way she did, and convene the grand jury the way she did. So, and anyway,
I have a question. If it's not illegal, how is she indicting him?
You can indict a ham sandwich.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, you literally can. And so all this does is this puts them in the court. It does harm the election process. It harms the former president's right to be able to campaign. It's more. We literally are a South American third world country right now, and these people are harping on doing just that and keeping just that. Remember, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black, and so she's doing her side around what Biden said a couple of years back. And listen, the Democrat Party, they should be proud of themselves because of what they have been able to accomplish. They have literally toppled the American system of anything. Even the Democrats are thinking, what in holy hell is going on?
Oh, no, they absolutely are. I've showed the picture on this show before. I showed it when it happened of me and Henry Cuellar at the Reads Across America here in Webb County in Laredo back in 2022. And he and I stood together and we talked, and I've talked openly on the show about it. So for the haters, it's no surprise, just as FYI. Physically posted the pictures. And I said, Henry, here's the deal. Like, your party has lost its mind. And he started laughing. He goes, yes, they have. And I said, my party has lost its mind. And he just kind of looked at me. He goes, yes, they have. And I said, there's some of us who we're not all completely crazy. So I feel like those of us, regardless of our party affiliation, maybe we could work together for the betterment of our country. And it's a crazy concept because maybe, just maybe, we should. Yesterday off the air, I won't say everything that we talked about, Simon. Yesterday off the, wow, we spun his head right round. like a record, baby. Walter, you flipped upside down for some reason. Anyway, I made the statement that, I'm just kind of getting sick and tired of being sick and tired with our own party because there's so much hogwash that's going on. I'm sick and tired of fighting for people who are perfectly okay to just be okay and just go with the flow instead of standing up for what they actually believe in. And he said, I know you've always kind of leaned a little bit libertarian more so than not. And I said, you know what? Let's fight for them prostitutes. Let's go libertarian. Just kidding. I'm not fighting. I mean, I fight for all people, but that's not the point. Anyway, moving forward, it was lighthearted. But I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I was kind of sick. This is part of why I'm sick of the Trump conversation. It's not just these BS indictment charges. It's the rhetoric from people who say, if you're not voting for Trump, then you don't love America. Like, those people I'm sick of. Shut up. And those people who get angry when we don't say that Trump is still the president. He's not still the president. He's not the 19th president either. And I'm sick and tired of being told that because and having to tiptoe around that. Like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Hey,
like,
you know what?
Table flipping show.
You know what? I heard a funny conversation. So
Tell me.
if Trump is still the president, then he's not allowed to run for a third term. So yeah, before I get called anti-Trump, I mean, never Trump or whatever. Listen, bottom line is we've been living in a circle jerk for the past 4 years now, and you know what? People went off this roller coaster.
Yeah.
COVID. Donald Trump is still pushing the COVID vaccine, and yet we are seeing people drop dead. He is still defending a horrible rollout of Operation Warp Speed. Operation Warp Speed was get this in your body before we could find out about it. And it wasn't just pushed by the Democrats. It was also pushed by him and his people.
Yep.
And look at how many of his people have mysteriously just died. Millions of people across the world because of this. And here's the thing. Nobody went to fight the country. Everybody could have turned their hate towards China where it should have gone, and we literally could have had a global conflict. And yeah, I'm calling for global conflict against China. They released a bioweapon. They have all the technology. This would have been the perfect opportunity to send your tanks to go rolling on their doors. Instead, our Republicans in Congress decided, you know what? We need to fund the Ukraine, and we need to send $700 a family to the people in Maui, as opposed to the 40 billion plus the extra billion that they send to the Ukraine. And there's people over there right now that are just they're not Trumpers, but they sure as heck aren't going with anyone in the federal government. And remember, people in the federal government, they can or can't vote they can or don't vote also, but yet they're the ones who have been in play for 20 and 30 years, protecting their retirement, protecting their investment that they'll get because it's the federal government. They'll pull it out of there. They've bankrupted so many companies that those people they invested their 20 and 30 and 40 years in those companies, and they're being left with pennies on the dollars. Whenever the stock markets went down, they're talking about Tommy Tuberville. He just got a hold of an experimental procedure. He's made 40% on his stock investments just in the past month and a half alone. And he sits on the House Armed Services Committee. So his big stock advancement went into the Ukraine, of which he's funding the Ukraine war as a U.S. senator. No one's talking about that. And Tommy Tuberville is a loved individual down here in the South. But he's got them Dan Crenshaw investments also.
Yep. I think that a lot of you made the statement a little bit ago, Walt, that people are just kind of sick and tired of being in this circle jerk with this presidential conversation for the last 4 years. And you're absolutely correct. And, I've defended, even though I can't stand Fetterman and I cannot stand Dr. Oz either. I've defended that race a little bit because I really think that people they saw exactly the BS that was being pulled with Oz. I don't think that there was any fraudulency. I'm sure there was probably some, but I don't think it was as fraudulent as people wanted to believe that it was. People hate DeSantis because he said, look, Trump's not the president. He's not anymore. And whether you believe in election fraud or not, at the end of the day, he's still not the president right now. So that doesn't make DeSantis wrong because he's stating a fact that you don't like, right? We talk about this all the time. Facts and feelings are not always the same. They're not, and people don't like that. And so I appreciate that DeSantis does separate that. It is what it is. I want to take a politics timeout for a second, because what some people don't know on this show is that we're unofficially not even close to being the unofficial Patrick Swayze fan club here. But for some godforsaken reason, these people that I love dearly love to bring up Patrick Swayze. Walter, do you know why I'm bringing up Patrick Swayze right now?
Because it's not time to be nice anymore. It's time to not be nice anymore.
Are you giving us the thumbs up? Actually, I did it before you gave me the thumbs up. Today is Patrick Swayze's birthday. Miss Patty posted that. So Now let me put what Miss Patty originally put. Hey, it's Patrick Swayze's bye. What? So I'm certainly glad that you put birthday under me. She originally put, hey, it's Patrick Swayze's bye, B-I. And I was like, but then birthday came up underneath. That's why I started chuckling. I got zoned out for a second while I was listening. I promise. It's not prepared for that. So happy birthday, Patrick Swayze. You made the world a better place, and now we're playing by your Roadhouse rules, and we're done being nice. It is what it is, chicken whiz. All right, next up on the chopping block. So Biden, that's a real thing, Miss Patty. It really does happen. I do it when I'm speaking, so imagine the typing. So the Biden administration, Walter, this is two of our favorite conversations all in one. The Biden administration is implementing measures in response to an emerging increase in shift in the migrant traffic at the southern border. So apparently the numbers went up again, about a 30% increase in July, but it's actually going up even more in Arizona. So they've kind of shifted from Texas to Arizona a little bit. So Tucson sector has witnessed a 134% increase in encounters. It says migrant, and what they really meant was illegal alien encounters compared to June. So that was a pretty significant increase, 134% in 1 month. And they're saying, hey, it is what it is. It's just because that's which direction the cartel is orchestrating it, and we just got to do whatever they say. Because apparently the United States is the cartel's beyond. What says you? And you know what Tony Gonzalez had to say? I've been looking for that interview that I watched. It was on Spectrum 1 2 days ago. Tony Gonzalez said that Texas needs to focus on immigration. Walter, can somebody tell the congressman that Texas's problem is not immigration? That's the United States problem. Texas can secure itself, but we can't because of the United States.
Well, no, actually,
situation.
He is right. I will agree with him on that. Yeah, I will agree with him there. So he has just admitted that the United States has foregone its constitutional responsibilities and has just kicked the can down to Texas. So Texas now has the ability to do their own deportations and to go after these things. Look at the fact that you have over 350,000 Chileans that have come in since January of 2022 on visa overstays. Chile is a country that we don't check that we do not receive the backgrounds from them. Chile is the only country that is not on the high risk immigration list. And the number one thing you're seeing across the nation in Asian areas is the Chilean gangs that are going in and robbing the Asian population of people throughout the nation. It was first brought about in Orange County earlier this year, and we're talking They are going in. They have classes in Chile on how to steal, how to do this. Whenever those people are, they break in, they get caught, they're released onto the streets so they can reform again. And there has been at one point in time this year, of the 350,000 visa overstays that were supposed to come in for a hearing, guess how many showed up for their hearing? Zero. 100% of the visa overstays that have gotten are the thousands of visa overstays out of the 350,000 that came in. 100% of them that have court dates to come back have not shown up for their hearing.
Walter, surely they just missed the bus to get back for their hearings. I don't think they did that on purpose.
I put those statistics out on TX Bacon Nation, of which I also cited my source, which happens to be the Orange County District Attorney.
You did. I'm even going to pull it up so that people can see it. Because you tagged me in it, so I saw it. Yeah.
Ooh.
I look at my notifications when I get them, but I don't just troll. I don't troll Twitter. I can't understand it. I don't like it.
What, Twitter? It's called X.
Fine. I don't like it.
Learn it. Hey,
is that better for you?
X was made in Texas. All my exes came from Texas.
Interesting.
Except the one from New Orleans. That really was a beep.
That's an accurate song for you. So anyway, here's what Walter was talking about, or what he cited his sources on. The source is Todd Spencer, Orange County DA, criminal Chilean national gang members. So there you have it, folks. Look, we give Walter, and when I say we, I mean I give Walter a lot of crap about being a social media influencer, but he might actually be. He knows some stuff. He posts it. He doesn't sleep, so he's faithful in posting.
Not really. There's a lot of stuff I don't post.
Yes, but there's a lot that you do post, and you're really good at posting. So follow Walter's social media if you want real news. Now this was just funny to me, and I just saw this, so I didn't truly read the whole thing, but I had something else pop up on my watch that was important, and then we'll take a commercial break after this so I can find the important news that just popped up on my watch. But it said Ford CEO admits to a reality check during F-150 Lightning Route 66 road trip. He said that the charging has been pretty challenging while on his road trip. He said he had a real reality check.
Well, all you got to do is put some extra batteries and a generator in the back and fire it up.
He said, no surprise, charging can be a challenge, but still learning a lot, seeing firsthand the issues our customers face. This is why we're working with Tesla to provide Ford access to 12,000 superchargers and our EV certified dealers. Here's the deal: is that nobody has traveled in wide open spaces, probably more than Walter West has, and I'm getting my fair share due. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. I had to stop myself there. Did you see that? That was self-control. You mean in the middle of nowhere, your 156 miles to a charge didn't get you all the way to the next 300-mile gas station?
Morons.
We're going to take a commercial break. I did find this is something that you'll be able to speak to, Walter, a little bit just out of principle. So let me see if I can find this next news story, and it's because it's cartel related. So it popped up on the watch, so I need to find it on the computer so I can show it. So give me just a second, guys. Go pee-pees. We'll be right back. are back with a huge thank you to our amazing sponsors. Of course, the Montgomery County Tea Party. Don't forget this Monday and the first and the third Mondays. Be there at 6:30 sharp. It's when the meeting starts. So get there early because it does start like right on time. And then you can get something yummy to eat, hug some necks, and get busy. Get busy with some patriotic stuff, yo. Because it's all about we the people work, and that's exactly what the Tea Party embodies. So make sure that you're a part of that. I believe that the Fredericksburg Tea Party, speaking of tea parties, has their big gala coming up at the end of September. So be on the lookout for that. I saw Angela checked in the other day, and I meant to say something, and I forgot. So we love you too, Fredericksburg. And then let's see what else. The Vietnam Veterans of America. Don't forget about them. Make sure you tell them welcome home whenever you see them. They really did serve in a thankless situation. They came home to very cruel and unusual circumstances from American citizens. So, hey, y'all, be kind to one another. All right? Be kind. Tell them welcome home. If you see a Vietnam Veterans of America branch or group, make sure that you buy a raffle ticket from them, give them a hug, tell them welcome home, bring them a plate of cookies, do what you can to help. If you want to be a part of the Texas Fully Loaded family, you can do so by going to the TexasFullyLoaded.com, click on the TFL shop. You can click on the hashtag We the People Work button where you can support us directly. You can also do that at Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. And then you can also see all of the amazing supporters that we have poured into Texas Fully Loaded, whether it's by being faithful contributors to our show in terms of content, whether it has been who we're promoting, and just go to TexasFullyLoaded.com. You'll find what you need there. Okay. Walter, when you give me a thumbs up, I'll pull you back on, pal. So you're on the phone. Okay. All right, I found it. You're not going to like it, but I found it. Are you ready for it? Okay. So this is from, and by the way, I don't know what the crap that law office wanted, but I printed out what they sent me, and it was a big blank page. So do with that what you will. But anyway, while this is pulling up here. So there's a stick going around, or a shtick, however you want to say it. Apparently, 5 students were beaten, murdered, and killed by a Mexican cartel that they recorded and they sent out because they're men, but they're boys. They're men. They're 19 to 22 years old. They were seeking employment. They were responding to a job offer for a call center for a security company. And so they went down to Mexico, and it was DJNG, the Jalisco Nuevo Generacion cartel. And when the boys or the men refused, they graphically murdered them. They duct taped them. They stabbed them. They ended up chopping their heads off. They did it all on video, and they put it out all over the interweb. And apparently this is not the first time that this has happened. It's something that has been going on.
We actually covered it last year when it happened again over there on the West Coast, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm trying to kind of scroll through this. 2010, they did it also. The Zetas did it as well. So yeah, go ahead. The following year, authorities found 40. That's what I was trying to find. Back in 2011, they found 48 clandestine graves containing the bodies of 193 people in Tamaulipas, which is right here on the U.S.-Mexico border. The call center.
That was during the reign of Cabeza de Vaca, who happens to be an American citizen. He was also a dual citizen governor down there. Most of his family is still in business as county leaders in Hidalgo County.
So it was, yes, that is absolutely accurate. And so it says the young men went missing Friday while on a trip to attend a festival in the city of Lagos de Moreno, which is an area known for cartel violence. Let me see if I can see. I might have to Google that and see where that's at before I even, because I don't recognize that city name. Do you, Walter?
Yep.
It's in Jalisco.
Yep. No surprise.
No. I mean, it's. But anyway, so those 5 young men, they were doing what so many others do, where hey, we're in this town, let's go get some fun while we're at it, and they were kidnapped, tortured, and murdered. They weren't doing anything wrong. And what did AMLO say? It's regrettable. So sad. Just another day in Mexico.
But at least he's smart enough not to send his money to Ukraine.
Well, it's because he's too busy taking all of our money. Yeah. Anyway. We have about 10 more minutes, Walter. What's on your mind today?
I had a long walk. Yesterday I walked about 31 miles. It was pretty good. Backcountry. It was beautiful. It was in the 90s while it was dark. Got some pictures of some deer. They run right up to you. They're like, what the heck is that? The wild animals are too well fed. But we got some great work going on out in West Texas. It's really good.
Well, that's good stuff. I mean, a nice walk sounds good. I hope you got to clear your head some.
Oh, I got to clear my head, get the blood flowing. It was a ranger walk. I was on for about 4 miles an hour. I started out really slow. It was like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't how we did it. And I pumped up and did my thing. So it was kind of exciting. Got the blood pumping. When you're going downhill and there's no one in front of you, you can go as fast as you want. And there was a lot of downhills where I was like, okay, I'm tired of lifting up my legs, because that's all I was doing was lift up my feet. So, and I was very lightly packed, just had a buttload of water, and had some chicken and taters. Chicken and taters my boss made me. I tell you what, I like that old Mitch. He takes care of me.
Mitch does take care of you. You say you got to see Mitch yesterday, huh?
No, I didn't get to see him. Oh, actually, yes, I did. Yeah, I'd actually. I woke up in New Mexico, and there's a whole story behind that, and it's like a Marty Robbins song. So,
you're a dork.
Anyway,
I did hear from Joe Thomas. I want to make sure that since it is Federal Defense Friday, we bring some good stuff for you guys. He said that the sentencing is going to be September 6th. They're asking for about 10.5 years. So pray that can get cut, to like that. That'd be cool. And to make sure that you go to Sing for Freedom. We have it down here on the bottom of our page, singforfreedom.us.
Doing pretty good.
He is doing he's doing a fundraiser, or it's not a fundraiser. They're doing a promotional.
Sorry, that's the Border Patrol. If you speak to them in Spanish, all they can do is laugh at you.
When you speak to me in Spanish, all I do is laugh at you also. So it's funny how that works out.
Yeah, but they never stop me though. Joe Thomas, man. Make sure
you guys go to singforfreedom.us and give Joe some love. He's an amazing guy. We love having him on our show.
Actually, you know what? You know what? Joe needs an appeal. I can't wait for them to start putting the funding together for the appeal.
Yes. Well, right now he's just trying to put
his family's going to need help. He didn't do nothing wrong. That's your banana republic right there. Meanwhile, the president's son gets to walk around in a banana hammock.
Hey, you leave him alone. He's got crack blisters on his face. It's not nice, Walter.
Yeah, well, we know where the hookers are snorting the coke from, so it is what it is. Joe Thomas, I tell you what, that right there, that's somebody whose family is, and you know what, they all do. I hear they're, Enrique and those guys, they're trying to give them more than a quarter of a century. And the FBI informants that were with them in the garage prior to have yet to be named, have yet to be pulled in. They have totally been hidden. Those are the FBI confidential informants that are still running around with the Trump label on. They're in the video. They've been made famous, but they're not on anyone's paperwork. Nobody's radar.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that
They're
amazing?
allowed to run for office and eat as much chicken nuggets as they want.
I sure can. Hashtag GMOs.
Since it's mainly happening on when? On Sundays that they're eating their chicken nuggets, we know it ain't Chick-fil-A. It ain't the Lord's chicken, baby.
It is not the Lord's chicken. It is not. I got a peach shake a couple weeks ago, speaking of the Lord's chicken.
Yeah,
I used to love their peach shake. I was a little bit disappointed. It didn't taste bad, but it just didn't jive like it used to.
Jive turkey.
Didn't jive. But I do love their cookies and cream one. It's fantastic. You know what, Charlotte? I might go get a cookies and cream shake. You do your 30-mile run. Get a milkshake.
Well, milkshakes ain't bringing the boys to the yard, so.
Oh, aren't they? Aren't they?
Because them guys on them 30-mile rucks, they keep running past that yard.
I don't think they even came close to it, oddly enough.
Oh, trust me.
Anyway, well, Walter, I really don't have anything else left. I mean, we could sit here and be silly for the next 5 minutes, or we could just sign off a few minutes early. What do you think?
Well, I sent Ken some good info on some people running in Houston. He had a young lady on running in CD7. There's also a Nigerian Republican running. I met him a week and a half ago, a couple weeks ago actually, and he is a interesting individual, Nigerian with children living in Bel Air, and I think Ken is going to look at having him on. But yeah, I mean, bottom line is these consultants have muddied the waters with their profits. I mean, PRIFITS, not, religious types, but they've muddied the water trying to make profit off of the American situation. And right now the American situation is dire. Now is the time that whenever you sit down with a candidate to actually have a physical conversation, and then also see who your elected official is, who they're backing, who they're not backing, or who they're hanging out with. Because in CD23, you watch what's going to happen. If they can't get a Republican they can control, they're going to go with a Democrat. And that's how they're going to swing that election. That's how they're going to swing that support.
It's funny that you kind of bring that up a little bit. I did talk a little bit yesterday about the different players that are in that field for 23. And, I don't know how I'm feeling about any of them. I know that you've talked to a couple people this week that are still looking at possibly announcing. I don't know. I think 23 is a crap show all on its own. I think that keeping Tony Gonzalez is going to be an absolute terrible plan. So
But they need
know
someone to finish the
these
plan.
days.
They need someone to finish the plan that Tony started.
Yeah, well, they need to.
And
quit.
it wasn't Tony that started it. It was just a bunch of puppets. Nobody's looking at the election fraud that happened in Eagle Pass in Maverick County, even though that elections administrator was fired. So, or resigned in lieu of being fired.
Yep.
The work that Sandy Sassano has done down there is enormous. But
more unsung heroes.
Yeah, what in the actual world? Okay, well, blew the tire out on that puppy. Anyway, that's exactly it. These anyway, these people.
What you thinking, Charlotte? You got any plans for the weekend?
Yeah, put this off.
Yeah, you can blow it again. Well, anyway, when I said that we were going to end a couple minutes early, Simon was not having that. He told us to be silly and make animal noises.
Oh, I can make noises, all right.
Well, I know. Not today, sir. Anyway, well, guys, we do hope that you have an amazing weekend. I hope that some of the stuff that we've kind of shed some light on the last 2 days, I hope that it's resounding and it's ringing through. If you didn't get to see it while it was live, you can always go back and look at it on our social media. Our YouTube is still down for Texas Fully Loaded, but Bacon Nation's YouTube is not down. So you can catch it there. Of course, you can see it on Twitter, on Twitter or whatever X. Because X marks the spot, I guess. And of course, Facebook, you know that we're always going to find a way to come to you. Ken was just a moment, love. Ken has got some new fun stuff working out for Texas. I'm sorry, for the network. So make sure that you are following everybody here on TECN.TV. We love you guys. Miss Oneida, I hope that you're healing well. Miss Oneida just had knee replacement surgery, I believe. So we love you so much, and we appreciate that you always tune in and your faithfulness. Thank you to all of our friends that support these endeavors. And
We're almost done.
yeah, we're almost done.
Yeah.
So what do you think we need to say now?
Bye.
Bye, y'all.